I always hate that I have to have my ties made in China. And you know why they're made in China? Because China manipulates their currency.
We suffer every day. Can you imagine? We have been here for centuries and we're still lagging around. If we to start a business in Jamaica, it's one of the hardest things to start a business. While the Chinaman come from China, come to Jamaica, start a business, non-tax for 5 years. And by the time the 5 years come when he start pay tax, he making cousin and he never and he uncle come and him gone.
It's not just the Americans, that Trump initially and Biden later, worried that big tech in China is rising. It's not just that. That would not worry them so much on its own. It is that Chinese big tech, a company like Alibaba or Tencent, Huawei, is rising in a country where the banking sector does not have autonomous power. China is the only country that has developed this new form of capital, which I call cloud capital, which is the part of capital which, when it accumulates, bestows upon its owner the most power. It's the capital that lives inside your phone, the algorithmic AI-driven capital, which is not new. It's been happening now for 10, 15 years. If you think about it, there is no British or European competitor to Google, to Facebook, to Amazon.com, to Uber, to Airbnb, to any of these platforms. None. No British, no German, no French, no Indian competitor to them. China has a bigger and better version of each one of them in China. And not only that, but there is an application called WeChat that belongs to Tencent, which, imagine an application, we don't have it here in Europe. You don't have an app that allows you to watch movies like Netflix, to call a cab like Uber, to send tweets, to do that, and on top of that, to send money, to pay, to make payments for free to anyone in the world. For free, no fee, no banking fee attached. That app doesn't exist in the West. The Chinese have it. So, to the extent that the United States remains hegemonic because they have the monopoly of all payment systems. When you pay anybody, even within Britain, that payment finds its way through to the other person, to the person to whom you are making the payment, through a system totally controlled by the United States. Not by the Bank of England, not by England or the European Union, totally by the United States. This is why...
Explain that, because people don't understand. If you're using Visa or PayPal, people get that.
Well, Visa and PayPal are all American.
But a bank transfer, how's that?
Well, it is possible for a payment to be made within Britain without going through one of the filters that go through Washington. But Washington has the means to press a button and stop you from making a payment from Lloyds Bank to NatWest within London. After the Second World War, Europe and Britain had no payment system. We were, in ashes after the Second World War. The continent of Europe was in genuine ashes, and Britain was bankrupt. So when Bretton Woods rebuilt the financial system through the system of central banks, the Bank of International Settlements and all that, SWIFT, have you seen the acronym SWIFT? All this system is an electronic payment system, a messaging system, which messages one bank, £10.35 is going from here to there. That system is totally controlled by the United States, because it was the United States that created it after Bretton Woods in 1944, and that remains to this day.
There is no democratic president in the world, and I say truly. Who is the democratic president? Trump? Obama? Who is here in Britain? We should be clear. Democracy is an illusion. We cannot have democracy in a capitalist, imperialist, patriarchal system, religious system.
Why not?
Because this is, they want money. Because if you remove religion and capitalism and imperialism, then you will have socialism. and then no government will be there, you know. They are afraid of the real power of the people. You cannot have democracy, because what is democracy? Democracy is real freedom.
But if you believe that none of these democracies are democracies, why do the people live with it?
Because people are oppressed. People are not organized. We are prevented from organizing. That's the key point. When I was an individual writer, even if I become famous and star, they allow me, but not to organize. The minute I started to organize women and men, I became a danger. You are not organized here. The people here are not organized.
But nobody is stopping organization here.
But they stop it.
No government is going to come and lock you up or kill you in Britain, are they?
But in a subtle way. I know the American way.
We suffer every day. Can you imagine? We have been here for centuries and we're still lagging around. If we do start a business in Jamaica, it's one of the hardest things to start a business. While the Chinaman come from China, come to Jamaica, start a business, non-tax for 5 years. And by the time the 5 years come, when him start pay tax, he making cousin and he never and he uncle come and him gone. So, and listen, this have been happening for centuries. So this have nothing to do with PNP or JLP. And you know, at the end of the day, none of them no want to fix it because all of them want us to, the black man, to stay at the back.
It's not just the Americans, that Trump initially and Biden later, worried that big tech in China is rising. It's not just that. That would not worry them so much on its own. It is that Chinese big tech, a company like Alibaba or Tencent, Huawei, is rising in a country where the banking sector does not have autonomous power, unlike Britain with the City of London and America with Wall Street. In China, because of the power of the Chinese Communist Party, the political power, the big tech companies and the banks have fused, they've become one. So you have an app like WeChat, which is Elon Musk's wet dream. What Elon Musk wants to do with Twitter is to replicate WeChat. WeChat, imagine an app that does everything. It shows you photographs, it plays music, it shows movies, it allows you to communicate, it's got something like Facebook on it, and allows you free payments. Free payments. You make payments and the bank does not retain anything either from you or from the vendor. The Americans do not have that. And they do not have that not because they don't have the technology to have that, but because, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America will never allow Google and Apple to get away with it, to take over their business. But if you fuse together big tech with big finance, you have something much more powerful, which is what the Chinese have done, than what the Americans have done, have created.
And I must say, the one country that has studied the collapse of the Soviet Union more carefully than any country in the world is China, because China knows that the dream of the United States is to make China the second Soviet Union that collapses. So how does China prevent a collapse? First point, the Soviet Union didn't collapse because of external pressures. It collapsed because of internal weaknesses. And so China realizes, to make sure I survive, I must have a very strong, dynamic economy and a strong, dynamic society. And by the way, there was a very famous American thinker, George Kennan, who said way back in 1949, very presciently, he said, at the end of the day, the outcome of the contest between United States and Soviet Union will depend not on our weapons and troops and all that. It will depend on which society has got greater spiritual vibrancy inside, stronger. And so United States society was far more dynamic than Soviet Union society. United States thrived, Soviet Union collapsed. So the Chinese know that the first priority is to make sure your economy is strong and your society is strong, which is why they're massively educating their people and growing their economy so that they don't become a second Soviet Union. The second thing the Chinese learned from the collapse of the Soviet Union was that the United States succeeded because it managed to get a lot of the neighbors of the Soviet Union to join the containment policy everywhere. Western Europe, Japan, South Korea, right? Both ends of the Soviet Union. So what did the Chinese do? The Chinese launched a preemptive strike against a containment policy by making sure that its neighbors depended on the Chinese economy. I'll give you a simple example. Singapore is part of Southeast Asia, and we are part of an organization called ASEAN. And ASEAN started as a pro-American organization, okay? In fact, when ASEAN was created on August 8, 1967, both the Soviet Union and China denounced the creation of ASEAN as a pro-American organization, right? And it's true, ASEAN was pro-American, pro-Western. And what was stunning was that even though ASEAN was pro-American, pro-Western, and we had longer dialogues with United States, European Union, Australia, Japan, everybody, none of our Western friends proposed a free trade agreement to ASEAN. The first country to propose a free trade agreement to ASEAN was China in 2001. And the impact of that China-ASEAN agreement was phenomenal. Because in the year 2000, and that's when China proposed the free trade agreement, ASEAN's trade with the United States was $135 billion, and our trade with China was only $40 billion. So US trade was, more than 3.5 times what China's trade with ASEAN was. But as a result of the free trade agreement, by 2022, even though ASEAN's trade with the United States has gone from 135 to 450, 500 billion, an increase of over 3 times, China's trade with ASEAN went from $40 billion to $975 billion, almost $1 trillion. The world's largest trading relationship in 2022. So that was then there's no way ASEAN can join a containment policy against its largest trading partner, right? It's crazy. So that's how, that's part of the Chinese strategy. And I mentioned a third one very quickly. You take the Belt and Road Initiative that China has launched, building infrastructure in all corners of the world. What does that mean? Every country in the world says, oh, this infrastructure is good. I need Chinese fast trains, I need Chinese highways. And then would you join a containment policy? You won't. So it shows you that they have systematically worked out a grand strategy. But at the same time, I can tell you that the Chinese also have a lot of respect for the United States. They understand that the United States as a power is a remarkable power. And so their challenge is, even with all this strategy, they cannot underestimate what the United States can eventually do.
The United States spends almost $1 trillion every year on war making. But do you know what the budget of the United Nations is? United Nations is supposed to be an institution, a global institution to build peace. The United Nations annual budget, my friends, is $3 billion. $3 billion to build peace, $1 trillion just by the United States to produce war. You can't eat in this country. You can't find a house to live in this country. You can't go to school and study without going to debt in this country. But you can bomb any country in the world. The greatest country in the world is the greatest country, not because there's no hunger in it, but because you can destroy any other country in the world. Those are your values. The values of a country are not to be measured by its constitution. The values of a country are to be measured by its budget. And the United States spends half its budget trying to destroy the world and then wags the finger and talks about democracy. Do you see how strange this looks from outside the United States? People look at this and think, who's this guy Biden? This is crazy. He's mediocre. He's wagging his finger. He's telling us about democracy. And right outside my window is a warship that's ready to destroy my family. It's bizarre. You see, we don't want to deal with humanity as a security problem, as a problem that requires war, as a problem that requires policing. There are real dilemmas of humanity. Those dilemmas of humanity need to be transcended with a politics of love. These mediocre imperialists fear love. They promote hate. They promote hatred. They don't understand love. They don't understand compassion. They don't know what it means to stay awake every night trying to make sure everybody's got something to eat. They don't understand that. We go to the people and say, this is what we want to do. We want to build with love.
Okay. So, I'm just very relaxed when it comes to my talking to people, so I just let it flow, you know?
And have some questions.
Yeah. But if you want to just start off introducing yourself, how you perceive yourself in this world, and like, just kind of your mission statement.
My thought on life is that, you know, we're here from creation, all of us, you know, through the love of the Creator. And because of the energy, create matter. So that's how we come to evolve to be like this on Earth. But when you check in families, your bloodline and all that, I'm not saying it don't matter, but it's more a spiritual thing now. You know, like maybe first time it used to matter where you come from or this or that. But for me right now, is accepting everyone as an energy, a spirit. So I don't put a label. So I don't label people from where they come from or what religion or anything. Just deal with them as, you know. But like, as for me, I just here for a time, just like all of us, we're on our journey. And growing up in Jamaica as a Chinese Jamaican was different, because I found that I was more privileged than most of my friends. But I didn't know prejudice until I came to the United States. We just used to, you know, share everything and, you know, play with each other and stuff like that. But, you know, the older you get into the world, and then everybody split up. But for me, I just keep the connection with the memories, that the experience that we share with each other. And even if your matter is not here, the energy is still here, you know. So that's why, as an Earth family, we're all Earth people. So the Earth family is people who really love themselves, care about themselves, and just want to free up, you know? Free up. And if everybody could live free, they wouldn't want sadness. For me, you can't say who right, who wrong. It's just either you choose happiness or you choose sadness. So like when I say, it's not good or bad. It's either you choose the happiness.
Brother, I never know said this was going to be a whole thing. So, my mother is Honduran and Jamaican. My father is Chinese and Indian Jamaican. Me put the Chinese in my bio because it's what I look like. Everybody I got to identify me first as Chinese, not Jamaican. But when me identify to people and people hear me talk, them are gonna be like, oh, she's Jamaican. So there you go. So basically, yeah. And for the people who want to be like, well, Jamaican people listen, brother, the amount of mix-up people there Jamaica exhibit, hey, like, if somebody tell you say them Jamaican. Point blank period.
Mommy, what would have happened if they send me back to China? We're not dead.
That's all my father them when they wake up themselves. Yeah. Joe sing good morning.
How yeah?
And then say Shak Chow is breakfast.
Breakfast.
Me not know no more Chinese language, period. Anybody want to say me know it? Yes, me know it, but me not talking it. I know what I know. When she got China, she know not much either.
Talk to him again. He ain't China.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, bye.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Michelle, and if you're watching me for the first time, kindly don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment. So guys, in today's clip we're going to talk about how Donald Trump is and wants to get to China to get out of Jamaica. We all know China and USA are investing a lot in Jamaica. We all know they are investing a lot in Jamaica. China is one of the largest investors in Jamaica. They are investing in Jamaica a lot. They are these people who believe in investing in other people's countries but forget about those people. This USA, on the other hand, is also the leading countries that are investing in Jamaica. These two countries are both investing in Jamaica, and Trump feels like China is being a threat to him simply because China is investing a lot in Jamaica and pulling him down and taking his opportunity. But these people are just here to invest in our countries and benefit themselves and benefit their countries. We all know when these people are coming to Jamaica, they just invest on themselves and make themselves rich and misuse our resources simply because, tell me why you are building something like a hotel in Jamaica and you are employing people from China, and you have built that hotel in Jamaica. We all know these people are just misusing the resources of Jamaicans people and are there because they're gaining on something. They're just there to benefit themselves. It's high time these people, if they were investing in our country, they should also create job opportunities for the people of our countries. These people, when they are investing in our countries and creating job opportunities and employ their own people, the people of Jamaicans will lack job opportunities simply because these people are only they are only coming with the people from their countries to employ them, while the people in Jamaica are still sitting there and being dragged down. It's high time these people should invest in our countries and also invest on us. We should both benefit on these people. So Trump doesn't have any right to tell China to stop investing in Jamaica simply because they are both investors and they are both benefit. What they can do, they should just create job opportunities, create opportunities for people living in Jamaica. They should not only think about themselves and their countries, they should think about the people they are coming to invest. These people are investing in Jamaica because they feel like Jamaica has the best spot of investing, and the Jamaican leaders should wake up and agree with these investors. You cannot come to my country and invest while you're not creating any job opportunity. We both have to benefit. Not the government only should just benefit, but also the people living in Jamaica, because these people are always paying taxes that build our roads, taxes that are paying our doctors and teachers. But that's not enough. They should also employ the people of our country so that we should cut the crime rate, simply because when many people are being unemployed, the crime rate increases. When these people are not employed, they become idle. Drugs are circulated. People start using drugs a lot, which will ruin their future lives. These people should get employed, start working, and find find money to get food on their table. People do not involve themselves in crime while they are having jobs. When there is scarce of jobs, these people will be forced, because everybody needs to eat, everybody has to get their basic needs. So when these people are lacking their basic needs, they are forced to do crime They are forced to steal, they are forced to sell drugs, which is a bad thing. And this is one of the things that is making Haiti to fight. We all know Haiti has been having a fight that has gone for a longer period of time, and these people are struggling and struggling and struggling to stop the fight, because the fight has gone too far and the fight is killing a lot of people, while the government is just seated there and watching. We should stop misusing our resources. We should stop the colonialists coming to our country to misuse our resources. It's high time these people should come to our countries with conditions. They should not just come to our countries and misuse our resources and leave us hanging and leave us struggling. They should just come in our country, invest in our country, but we are both benefiting on it. They should not just benefit on themselves alone, but both of us should just benefit. So guys, if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, kindly don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment.